You're talking about the guy that is going to win the MVP of the league. Like, we're not in this position without him. So I couldn't be happier with just not only his performance, but how he led our football team, all the little things he does within that locker room to ensure that everybody is locked in, focused, ready to go. So, yeah, absolutely, he will be here for a long time.
Be here for a long time. We'll see about that. Aaron Rodgers was plus 2,500 to win NFL MVP before the season started, and boy, did he prove the doubters wrong with a spectacular season, throwing a career-high 48 touchdowns, completed a career-high 71% of his passes, led the Packers to the NFC Championship, where they lost for the second year in a row. Rodgers would have liked to cap it with his second Super Bowl title. Still, Rodgers the clear MVP as he wins the award for the third time in his Hall of Fame career, just the sixth player in NFL history to win 3 or more MVP awards. Let's get some instant analysis. Welcoming former NFL quarterback Brady, Quinn, and CBS Sports HQ NFL analyst Pete Prisco, who join us from Super Bowl 55 in Tampa. Pete, you said before the season Aaron Rodgers would have an MVP year, that he would be even more motivated after they drafted Jordan Love in the first round. I agreed with you on this, so I'd like to be the first one to say to you, you were right.
Yeah, I thought he would have a big year. More so than the motivation from Jordan Love being drafted was the fact that he was in his second year in the system. He was comfortable with Matt LaFleur. You know, Aaron Rodgers told me last year that he was having more fun in that quarterback room with Matt LaFleur and Nate Hackett than he had at any point in his career. And now they were in the second season, and I was talking to some people in Green Bay, and they said he had even more fun this year. So when you're loose and you're free and you're enjoying it and you have all that talent, of course you're going to play well, and he was phenomenal this year. Brady, he was the MVP for a reason.
A career year at 37 years old, too, and I think it speaks to a little bit of, you know, what he was doing over the period of the offseason, what the motivation was. I think he's always a guy who's motivated. He's always a guy who's trying to go out there and win a Super Bowl every year. The thing that stood out to me, and I think one of the reasons why he played so well and had so much confidence in the system his second year, was it wasn't just about him. There was times last year I think he was frustrated because everyone else wasn't on the same page or wasn't on his level. This year, all those guys started to step up. The complementary pieces like the Marquez Valdez-Scantling, you know, Tunyon, who ended up having a big year. The rushing attack got even better. He obviously was able to utilize everything around him, but everyone else elevated their level of play within this system, and that's obviously one of the biggest keys is you can only do so much, but he was obviously able to get those guys to play at an extremely high level.
Brady, do you think if the Packers had drafted another weapon for Rodgers that they would be playing in the Super Bowl on Sunday night?
Well, I mean, look, that might be debatable, but the reality is, you know, we would have liked to see him have another opportunity getting the ball back at the end of the NFC Championship game to see if he could go down and potentially score a touchdown to win, or if they just would have went for it instead of kicking the field goal. Maybe he has a chance to score a touchdown and tying it there. So I'm not so sure that another weapon would have made the difference. It was more about the decision that ended up taking place. And honestly, if you really want to look at that, go back before half. When Kevin King gave up the long touchdown pass to Scotty Miller, maybe they could have used a better defensive back opposite of Alexander.
Yeah, we just sit here and say, oh, they could have drafted a receiver in the first round. Well, maybe they should have drafted a quarterback because they need a cornerback now. That was the problem in that game. It wasn't really the wide receivers. It wasn't the offense. It was the fact that they couldn't stop Tampa Bay, and Kevin King had a horrible day. But let's think about this. Number 1 overall pick, didn't play. Second pick, the first round pick didn't play. Second round pick came on late and started getting some carries, but he was technically the third back. And then the third round pick was a tight end that barely even played. So they didn't really help him much. This year, if you want to appease the guy, get him some damn help.
Yeah, get him some help indeed. But clearly he can do a lot with a little. He turned Bobby Tunyon into a star, at least there in Green Bay. 11 touchdowns for that guy, friend of the program. Brady, what does Rodgers do better than any other quarterback in the league?
To me, it's still his ability to play in rhythm from the pocket. You know, you look at Tom Brady, who's obviously the greatest of all time. He's a pocket passer, but there's something about Aaron Rodgers and his ability to be able to bounce around the pocket, buy additional time, and make plays downfield. And he can still make all the throws. There's no doubt whatsoever. He's got as lethal of an arm as anyone, Pete.
Yeah, I just think his ability to get outside the pocket, and you said it, he's great inside the pocket, but his ability to get outside the pocket and flick a ball 60 yards on a rope is the difference between him and a lot of guys. Patrick Mahomes can do it, but there aren't a lot of guys who can do that. Plus, I think he became much more comfortable in that offense. He kind of almost knew where everybody was going to be this year, much better than he did a year ago. And you could see it in his face when he came to the line of scrimmage. They actually had footage of him smiling, looking at the defense. That tells you how comfortable he was all year.
Pete, what does this third MVP award mean for Rodgers?
Well, he's one of the greats of all time. That's not up for debate even if he didn't win this award. He's one of the great quarterbacks we've ever seen. And what that does, it sets off everybody says, well, how come he only has one Super Bowl ring? And it's a legitimate question, but it takes a team. It's not just the quarterback. Yeah, the quarterback will cure your ills, and they've had a bunch of them. Was it his fault last year against San Francisco when they ran for 300 yards against him? So this cements him as one of the all-time greats. He's in the conversation as one of the 5, 6, 7, 8 best quarterbacks ever.
Look, the film doesn't lie. You know, when I was playing, you would still go back and you would watch Aaron Rodgers on that off day. You'd see what he was doing, how he was playing, his mechanics, his footwork, all those things. He's one of the most talented passers this league has ever seen. And as Pete touched on, it takes a team to win a Super Bowl. And unfortunately for this organization, they have just not been able to supply him with enough out around him or be able to get over that hump. And this year, again, I keep going back to the decision-making of Matt LaFleur and Mike Pettin that honestly maybe was the reason this year that cost them a chance of being in the Super Bowl.
Well, Rodgers is under contract through the 2023 season. Pete, could you potentially see the same scenario for Rodgers where he gets pushed out like Brett Favre for a younger quarterback?
No, absolutely not. Not when he's playing at this level. Hakeem, if he's playing at this level, why would you get rid of him? It makes no sense at all. Look, Jordan Love, sit down, watch, learn, and maybe you'll be doing it for somebody else because he's not going to be playing in the next 3 or 4 years if Aaron Rodgers is playing at this level. What will happen and what needs to happen, they have to amend his contract. They got to give him more money, and I think that's what that was all about, Hakeem, after the game. He was upset. He was hurt, but he sent a little message out there. Hey, guys, look around the league. I'm the MVP, and now it's time to pay me like it.
Yeah, there's no doubt he needs to be compensated more for the level of which he's playing. And I think he would want to extend the contract and do it now with a team and an organization that he's done a lot with, and they're more familiar with him. But the reality is it's the NFL. You never say never anymore. I mean, we just saw a big trade between the Rams and the Lions with Jared Goff and Matt Stafford. And I know they're not on his level. Now there's rumors about Carson Wentz. It just seems like the NFL is becoming more and more comfortable with moving on from players and kind of moving these guys around and swapping draft picks. So I'll never say never, but I think it'd be a huge mistake.
Do it.
Huge mistake in Green Bay if they were to move on from it.
Aaron Rodgers wins his third career MVP award. Brady, Quinn, Pete Prisco breaking it down for us here on CBS Sports HQ. Thank you, man. And what an MVP season it was for Aaron Rodgers, the third of his career, won in 2011 and 2014. Super Bowl MVP in 2010, as we mentioned, the only Super Bowl win of his career. 412 passing touchdowns in his career, future Hall of Famer. Consider this in terms of his season, right? 48 passing touchdowns, led the league, career high. That was more than the Packers had punts. 46 punts this season. Aaron Rodgers, your NFL MVP.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.